So let me throw you a curveball. Why don't you reharmonize 1,000 Miles, the Vanessa Carlton hit?
Oh boy. 1,000 Miles is one of the few pieces I know in B major, so you're really putting me on the spot. Right?
Yeah, that one. It's my favorite song. Everyone can learn to make chords, even non-musicians, and really it just takes a good starting place.
Not everything in harmony needs to be explained. Not everything has to be justified. If it sounds good, go for it. This is how Bach would orchestrate a C major. Pretty standard, right? That's how Mozart would do. Basically same notes with different figuration. Beethoven likes the lower register. Someone like Corea would have a different approach.
Oh, I love those open fourths.
Yeah. Bill Evans, also different type of sound. So dramatic.
We have 5 different composers, 5 different ways of hearing a C major chord.
So many people are concerned with the theory of chords, having the the tonic, the third and the fifth, the seventh, but very few people think about the quality of color in a chord. We created this really fun game that we like to play with our friends and doing our composition, workshops, where we take a starting point, a major chord, and we play them in an open format. I wrote the chord a little differently. I'm writing the middle note an octave higher. I took the middle note from here, I wrote it an octave higher. This creates better orchestration and makes it a little more interesting.
So next we're going to take this open voicing and we're going to change one note. We can move it up or down, and to begin with, let's just move one note, one half step.
For example, I'll raise the middle voice up, a half step up. So this becomes now G sharp. Tim, what should we move next?
All right, so we're going to take this C on the bottom and move it down to B.
Gorgeous. Maybe I'll move the top down just to, create variety. Let's see how that sounds if I move the top down. Beautiful cadence.
Amazing.
Not bad. So you can go on and do and keep doing this exercise over and over again. You'll be surprised with the new turns that your harmony will take.
And it's a really good exercise if you're somebody interested in writing music. We get stuck in one tonal center so often when we're writing our chords, and so this is a way of thinking horizontally. So grab a group of friends, do this exercise together. It's just a fun game to play.
I've written so many pieces using this, so if you ever listen to my compositions, you'll hear 100% of this. Go and buy my records. One of the composers that I really admire when it comes to simple and beautiful chords is Eric Whitacre, and he has a few little tricks that he uses that I like incorporating in music, which is the idea of kind of clustery chords where you have a triad, but you add an extra note that creates a little bit of a cluster. For example, instead of C major, you add the fourths together, all together. And you get kind of this clustery sound. He uses that in a more sophisticated way, One of my favorite pieces of his is called Sleep. And right in the beginning, the first cadence has already this gorgeous, it's a B-flat chord with the third and the fourth kind of rubbing together. Check it out. When I heard this the first time, I'm like, how the hell he managed to put those two notes together? You see what, the chord contains? but in context, because the voice leading is so good and so natural, everything works. So you hear all the time a chord, but there's always that like blur in it. I would call almost like an impressionist approach to like a pure harmony.
There's also a way of building chords where you can imply the chord without actually even playing it.
I like to call those unconventional voicings. It's basically when you take any random collection and group of notes from within a scale and you play them together. And the fun thing is that they still express the chord you want, even if you're not including tonic, third, and fifth. Use any hand shape that may be different. Let's do a C major example. I'll, for example, do this, the Spock gesture. I'll go to the piano and I find a way to play those notes together. So F,
yeah.
G, C, and D. So maybe this can be my C major.
It has a very impressionist vibe to
Yeah,
it.
it carries an ambiguity in it. And one cool thing to do once you invent one of these unconventional structures is to move it parallelly, up and down. Look at this one. So again, some of them may have some friction, may have dissonance in them, but it's so beautiful and rich. So instead of harmonizing, next time you see a C major around, or you want to orchestrate or arrange something, instead of using like the traditional root third fifth, why don't you start with an unconventional voicing like this? It's gonna feel a little more ambiguous, but so beautiful.
We've learned a lot about different ways you can approach building unique and cool chords. What do we do next?
Well, you can reharmonize stuff.
So let me throw you a curveball. Why don't you reharmonize 1,000 Miles, the Vanessa Carlton hit?
Oh boy. 1,000 Miles is one of the few pieces I know in B major, you know, so you're really putting me on the spot. Right?
Yeah, that one. It's my favorite song.
Many times you can choose any of the techniques that we talked about to find one chord that you enjoy and just move that chord 100% parallelly according to your melody, regardless of key signature, regardless of anything. You just use exactly the same chord. So, for example, we talked about Eric Whitacre's song. That's this one, right? So how would that chord sound if I had to adjust and transpose to moving my way downtown, right? Oh boy, here we go.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it better than the original, I must say.
It has a whole new character. So I like that parallel motion to start. Then do you want to use some of the voice leading just to get us then to the hook?
Sure, let's try.
I think we've got a hit on our hands.
Of course.
Better than the original?
1,000 Miles better.
It's really more of a matter of choice at this point. You have the choice to go between parallel, voice leading. You can build chords vertically. You can build them horizontally.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a tool. It's just up to you on how you want to use it.
And you know, Tim, I think one thing that for me is so crucial is like not everything in harmony needs to be explained. Not everything has to be justified. If it sounds good, go for it, you know? So if you listen to enough music, you're surrounded by good harmonic vocabulary. Don't think, just do it. Later on, you can explain, you can try to understand, but when you're doing it, just do it.
So if you want a more in-depth look at how to make cool chords, you can download our free ebook. It's in the description. And in that ebook, you'll find some of our Jazz Lab faculty's favorite chords too.
For example, here's one that Michael Mayo gave us.
Ooh,
Sus with the third.
fantastic.
This is Ehud. Scaio Afionis. Also great.
Find your favorite chord, write it down. You can put it in the comments. We'll play it for you.
And if you want to learn music in a more creative way, subscribe.